Good morning, dear students. So, today in class plus one, we are going to start with the very first book, means Hornbill book. Okay, and this is the textbook of class plus one, prescribed by the NCRT and CBC both. And the first chapter of this book is The Portrait of a Lady, written by Khushwant Singh. The Portrait of a Lady. Okay, so before coming to the content of the chapter, let's learn something about Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh actually a famous Indian writer. Okay, a famous Indian writer. Okay, of English, born in 1915. He born in 1915 and completed his education from Lahore, Pakistan. Okay, then from Delhi and then lastly from London. So he was a figure who went to different locations of the world like Lahore, Delhi, and London. He is often referred to a commentator and columnist. Okay, most commonly for Times of India. Got it? And short story writer he was, novelist he was, an editor he was, and like humorist and commentator he was, and columnist he was. And he has an essay narrative style, and his the best book of his till today is A Train to Pakistan. Okay, this was his first book. Okay, and this book is based on the partition of India and Pakistan, which was such a really horrible part of India and Pakistan both. So now come to the next point. He got some kind of awards also, but due to some reasons he returned one award, and later he died at the age of 99. Basically he belonged to India. Fine. So this is the thing. Now something about the chapter, a very little bit. This particular chapter, The Portrait of a Lady, is an autobiographical sketch. Okay, in this one we have two characters like grandmother and grandson. Okay, and it describes the author's relationship with his grandmother. This grandson is Khushwant Singh. Okay, this grandmother of Khushwant Singh. It is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother, where he writes about the emotional bonding with his grandmother. Okay, and after reading it, most commonly we are forced to find, to evaluate or to judge our relationship with our grandparents, and to reflect on the factors or the reasons for the growing isolation of this modern world. Here, the writer Khushwant Singh also tries to convey a good kind of message that how should we be loyal to our relationship like grandson and grandmother, and most commonly this chapter conveys the message of respecting our grandparents. Okay, so this is the very nice chapter in which a good kind of relationship is being shown to us. So portrait of lady, in this chapter we have two characters like grandmother and grandson. Okay, now something about grandmother. Grandmother is a lady who is an old, okay, as the name suggests. Her face is wrinkled. Okay, she is short in height. Okay, somewhat fat and bent slightly bent. His waist is down. So these are the features of his physical structure. Now grandfather also is being discussed in this, in the opening of the chapter. Grandfather, his portrait means the photo is hanging down on the wall, and he looks that he is 100 years old. Okay, he has a long beard, long white beard, long white beard. Okay, a turban, big turban, and loose fitting clothes, loose clothes. This is the description given in the chapter. And one more thing, my dear students, I just tell you this: if you look at the picture of grandfather, nobody can assume that this lady had been his wife. Means there's a lot of difference between both the physical structure of these characters. Okay, while she is pretty, he is not that kind of person who would be suitable match for that lady. Okay, then what does grandmother do in the village? Okay, first thing, he had a beads of rosary. She had a beads of rosary in her hand. Okay, all the time she does some kind of prayer to the god. I just tell you, this lady is so much religious. She believes in each and every point of Hinduism, most commonly. So prayer she does. Okay, and she also feeds dogs in the village in the morning. If she does prayer, it is sure that she goes to temple for prayers. Okay, scriptures. Even she is an illiterate person, but she likes to listen scriptures not from anybody else, but the priest in the temple, who reads and then she listens. These are the thing. So grandfather in village, what does she do? She all the time beads of rosary in her hand, saying Ram 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 like that. Then prayer in inaudible prayers. Nobody can hear these prayers. Inaudible prayers these are. Okay, and she feeds the dog whenever she goes out of the house in the morning. Okay, then now one more thing I just tell you, the parents of this grandson, they are living in city doing some kind of job. Grandson and grandmother, they are living in village. So it is the duty of grandmother to make grandson ready for school in the morning, packing his bag, applying yellow paste on his wooden slate. Okay, preparing food for him in the morning. All these things he does. So in the morning, when grandmother and grandson, both of them, they leave the house, she drops grandson in the school, and after dropping him in the school, she goes to temple. Okay, she goes to temple to hear some kind of hymns. Okay, and scriptures from the priest. Like other women of that area, they also come to village, they also come to temple to listen something religious. So this is the thing that happens with grandmother in the village. Then in their relationship, a turning point comes. What is the turning point? The parents of the grandson calls him to city. Okay, then the relationship between grandmother and grandson comes to a turning point. But after some time, this turning point comes to an end, and grandmother and grandson, both of them, they live in one room in city. Okay, now grandmother is shifted to city. So what changes will take place? In the village, she had dogs to feed. Now she has changed his focus from dogs to sparrow. Okay, daily in the morning she feeds sparrows. Now, after that, common link of friendship snapped. Snapped means ended, a gap. Now the boy goes to university for higher study, and she is alone. When she is alone, what does she do? She spin the wheel. Okay, and prayers all the time she does, and feeding sparrows, these things she does. Okay, and after that, returning of grandson, after completing his study, when he comes to the city, that day that day she does some kind special, like she does a good kind of ladies sangeet in the house, and on that day she got to know that she had mild fever. Fine. And due to mild fever, she does not want to sing any song, she wants loneliness. Then on that day, when doctor declared that she had mild fever, on that day, first time in her life, she did not do prayer, even though there was not a single day in her life, or in her life, when any evening she left the prayer, but this was the time when she skipped prayer. And at that time she felt that her end is so near. She stays alone in the room and doing what? Beads of rosary. Beads of rosary, and lie down on the bed, lie down on the bed, and suddenly this beads of rosary falls down, and she is no more. Okay, she is no more. See, this is the end of that lady. And as I told you, that daily she used to feed the sparrows in the city. So on that day the sparrows came, and even they came, and the mother of Khushwant Singh, or grandson, threw some pieces of bread for sparrows. Sparrows came to pay tribute to the old lady, but not to get the food. They came silently, they sat silently, and lastly they flew away. See, what kind of relationship does the mother create with sparrows as well as to the dogs? So we can say that grandmother was not only a lady who was religious, but he was so kind to the heart. He was so attached to the grandson. He was so attached to the love of religion, love of music, and love of scriptures. Okay, so by the end of the chapter, we come to know that she is no more, and sparrows came, they sat silently, and they flew away lastly. And the very next day, the sweeper comes and took these pieces of bread and threw them in the dustbin. So this is the chapter which I tell you right now. Okay, so the reading of this chapter we will do in the next video. Till then, try to understand the outline of the chapter. Thank you, dear students. Have a good day.